A lot of things, especially anything visual. So different types of art, sculpture, architecture, photographs, really anything visual. And I love to sort of pick it apart. I like things that have structure and some organization to them that I can really see that they've kind of designed it. So I made some boards that I'm just going to kind of pass around to you guys. So we can just pass them around and you can flip through them. These have pictures on both sides. And it just kind of I've been really inspired by photography lately. And one of the rules of photography is designing your composition in thirds. So rather than dividing everything in half, always in thirds. So this is a little bit of a board about that. So we can pass that, we'll pass that this way. And with that board go a couple of transparencies. So you can sort of overlay these when you get it and just kind of see where the focus of the picture is in not directly in the center. And then I'm also inspired by color and how that sort of fits into the whole piece. So then I have a third board to show you guys about everything that color can do. So my models today are going to be transformed kind of in those ways. So I'm always going to be keeping in mind my rule of thirds and how I can sort of break things into a really good balanced composition for them, but not symmetrical. So symmetry to me is just not really that inspiring. I feel like it's easy to create balance if everything's exactly the same on both sides. So I like to create balance with asymmetry, so that's what we're going to do. Should we turn the models more specific? Okay, so while I'm talking then, you guys, most of you I think know Avery, right? She's going to be a redhead by the time we're done today. So I already gave her a little bit of fringe and just kind of, I was just doing a little bit of detailing in her haircut that she already has, which was already kind of designed that way, a little bit sort of slanted. It's a longer on one side. So to create the balance, to keep the balance that she already has, we're going to keep this dark that she has over here, and that'll kind of give us a visual balance on both sides. So I'm just going to do a little re-darken her dark panel, and then we're going to be pre-coloring. And then this is Yitka over here, who I think most of you saw her when her hair was still dry. She just has a long bob right now. We're going to keep it pretty similar to that, but we're going to do kind of a spiral that starts at her fringe and goes all the way around to her left side. So it's cool.
Sophia, are you actually cutting your sections to form like triangles, just as if you're going up and then you're going down?
No, what I've been doing over here is I'm going to have on this side of her fringe is going to continue around, and then it's eventually going to sort of blend out into the rest of her hair. But this is still all going to be here, so it's going to be a little bit of an interior weight line on this side. So to make that look not like just a weight line sitting on top of her hair, you want to take out a little bit of bulk underneath, so that this lays really, really nice and straight. So taking out that sort of roundness, I did that by taking this pretty much this short. So it's just a little section. It's like about an inch right at her parietal, right over here, that is really only about an inch long. And that's just going to make this hair underneath here just hang really, really straight and not have that sort of roundness. Because if we have round and round, it just looks awkward. So it's going to be sort of round and straight.
So when you start getting ready to cut, how do you visualize like where your sections need to be? Like if you're tearing down?
Well, I think about, I don't necessarily visualize where the sections are. I think more about where the widest parts of her head are. So right on the parietal is where I want that to be the closest. So this is the widest part of her head right here. So that's where my section's here. So then I sort of start there, and then I think, well, it really should be right here. But then that would leave her not enough bulk at the bottom, so I just had to move it up a inch. Otherwise, it would be just too skinny, too thin at the bottom. So I wanted it to be a little bit bulkier, so I just moved that up a little bit. So it's just kind of balancing that the density that you have on the top and the density that you have on the bottom. And then back here, it just sort of drops down pretty abruptly because that's what her hairline does. I mean, she has twice as much hair here as she does here, right? So it had to just sort of get a little bit lower to create that.
So you're saying she's carrying more density in the back?
Yeah.
In the front?
Yeah. I mean, as everyone does, right? Because you have hair all the way from your nape to your crown and back, and just from
difference
your
between
ear to
this
here.
and this. No hair, hair.
Yeah.
Here I have it the whole way.
Right. So it's
So
really
I always have
twice
half
as
as
much.
much in the front, from here to here. That makes sense. That's an important element when you're cutting, thinking about why. Because people say, oh, my hair seems a little heavy at the back. Well, yeah, mine
It
too.
is.
Everybody, that's a calling human head. We have twice as much.
So I always start by dividing the front from the back, and I usually do it right from the crown to just a section that would pretty much be my comb falling right behind the ear.
So the section that you have rounded off in the crown area, did you section it that way because that's how that's the way that your line's
section
going
right
to go
here?
down? Yeah, are you following your section?
Yeah, because I want this to sort of continue. So I want, this is all going to be close, and then the rest of this haircut is going to be just like a bevel bob on the side. I'll make it a little more sense as it gets to it.
Okay.
So under here, so then she has this little inch section. Then I continued that all the way around to here, but in the back it's just my guide. In the front it's going to just be just that, and all this is going to be all one. In the back it's really my guide, and now I'm going in and sort of graduating that to blend. Because I don't want it to be quite so thick in the back. I want it to sort of